So now we're good. Jeremy, we're good now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today is January 7th, 2021, and this is this is a work session for the school board of the School City of East Chicago. We will be going over the Return to Learn plan. The time is 6:11. Again, apologies in regards to us signing on. It's a difficult task trying to get everyone on board and get our technology to be working. So please bear with us. As you know, we know technology is always not the funnest thing to work with. Ms. Wright, if you could move forward with explaining to us the plan as we have moving forward, that would be great.
Yeah. Before we start, can we do a roll call?
Sure.
Because we're taking this as this is a public meeting, right?
It is a public meeting. From what we previously have done, it's never been a roll call with it, but
okay.
Roll call, that's fine.
Oh, either way. Okay.
Rhonda, please. I'm sorry, Ms. Cass, can you please have a roll call?
Okay. Trustee Rodriguez. He's not here. Trustee Gomez.
Here.
Trustee Williams.
Present.
Trustee Smith.
Present.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Present. And Ms. Cass, I know Trustee Rodriguez is supposed to come in. Once one of us sees him, we'll remind you to let you know.
Okay.
Superintendent Wright?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Today, we're going to look at our plan that we're considering, and we're going to ask for your input at the end of the presentation. Jeremy, can you pull up my PowerPoint presentation, please? Jeremy? There it is. Go over to slideshow, Jeremy. Slideshow. Slideshow. To your right. Yes, thank you. Yes. Okay. So once again, this is our Return to Learn plan that we're considering. I'm going to go through some of the slides. I have my assistant superintendent here, and she will be able to chime in as well. And at the end of the presentation, we will like your input. So let's get started. Return to Learn. Jeremy, can you click the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, so as of today, we have loaned out 726 iPads for K through 2. We have 900 kids in K through 2, so quite a bit of our kids have received iPads. We have loaned out 2,215 Chromebooks out of 2,800 students in grades 3 through 12. And we have also loaned out 451 hotspots. Those of you who may know, we have our technology department at East Chicago Central. If you have technology needs, you have to go to Central, and we have staff that could assist you all in your technology issues. So we're really good on loaning out technology and also repairing technology as needed. Next slide, Jeremy. So how do we make decisions about e-learning, which is also called virtual learning, or the hybrid plan? So every 2 or 3 days, I get a email from the Indiana State Department of Health, and they provide us with the positivity rates for the entire state. Using the Indiana State Health Department guidance determines how school is going to look. So as you all can see in Lake County, Indiana, as of today, the positivity rate is at 16.3. We have 3 different zones. We have zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. 3 is the highest. So if we have a zone 3, that means that we have a positivity rate of above 15%. At a positivity rate above 15%, the Indiana State Department of Health recommends that no person instruction takes place. So currently today, again, we are in the red zone and the positivity rate today is 16.4. Next slide, Jeremy. So the plan is that we're considering staying with e-learning. And so here's the school day. The school day for pre-K is 9 to 2. The school day for elementary is 8:30 to 2:30. Middle school, 8:30 until 3:30, and the high school, 7:30 until 2:30. However, on late start Wednesdays, the schedules are pre-K and elementary are pre-K is 9 a.m. to 2. Elementary is 9 a.m. to 2:30, and middle school is 9:30 until 3:30 p.m., and high school 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So what I want to emphasize here is I know that we hear complaints about the kids logging in for long periods of time during the day. The Indiana Department of Education states that during e-learning, our students must receive 5 hours of live instruction. We understand that it may be difficult for the little kids, and we understand that it may be difficult for some kids to sit for 5 hours, but we must adhere to the Indiana State of Education rules. So they must receive 5 hours of live instruction for elementary and 6 hours of live instruction for middle school and high school. So that's not the School City of East Chicago rule, that's the state of Indiana rule. That being said, what are our e-learning expectations? As you all just saw, the time schedule, we're asking that kids are prepared for class and that they are on time. Same as if they were in a traditional building. If they log in 10 to 15 minutes late, they probably have missed 10 to 15 minutes of important information. So we're asking that they please log in on time. We're also asking that when they log in, they turn on their camera. And the reason for this is because the teachers want to see the kids' faces so that we can make sure that they are actively engaged in their lessons. So if a kid does not have on his or her camera, we really have no way of knowing if that kid is actually engaged in the lessons. As with the traditional day, we ask that all students follow normal school rules. We ask that students complete assignments. And also, if students need help, we have teachers who are more than willing to use their prep time and to use their conference time to help students who are struggling. Also, if you have any other issues, we ask that you please contact your building administrators for help. Notify the school for student absences and frequently check Skyward. We're asking that each teacher have 3 standard-based grades in Skyward every week. So we want you all to be just as informed as we are as to the progress that your student is having. So we ask that you check in Skyward, check their grades and their attendance at least once a week. But there will be 3 standard-based grades in the grade book every week. That being said, we're going to make determinations every 2 weeks. We're going to make a determination of our next plan on the first board meeting in February. In the meantime, we're going to survey parents. We're going to survey teachers, administrators, and students. We're asking that everyone participates because we want to have your voices heard. Before or whenever students are allowed to re-enter into the building, which will be the yellow plan, it will be thoroughly explained again, and we're going to make sure that it's communicated. That being said, it's now time to ask questions. Next slide, Jeremy. Vaccinations, I'm sorry. So I know that we have some questions on vaccinations. What I can tell you is that I think we're next in line. It's to be determined, but it's coming. I don't want to put out a date, but we're next online. I was informed today that, you know, teachers and educators will be on the next list. So now we have time for questions. I'm asking that we're positive and respectful. If I cannot answer a question right now, I promise that I will get an answer to you all in the next couple days.
First, we'd have just the board questions, and then if there is any public, then we could go to the public so they could ask questions.
Sure.
I just want to clarify because I know a robocall went out for Wednesday, and it's talked about live lessons.
Yes.
And there was a confusion with parents because they felt like they were supposed to be live as in school. So you had parents that were actually showing up in buildings or assuming that they had to go to school. So I just want to make sure that when we state live, that means that they're just going to be live on the computer per normal. And I know there has to have been a lot of just confusion in trying to get this together. So that's one thing I want to make sure we clarify.
Okay, so live instruction, that means that, so what had been happening was on Wednesdays, teachers were just posting assignments for the kids to work on, and many kids did not complete the assignments. And due to the fact that we are e-learning and our kids are suffering from learning loss, it just benefits our kids more to have that one-to-one instruction on Wednesday. So this semester, we made the change to go back to live instruction on Wednesday. Ms. Goods, you want to chime in and say something about that?
I will. We've looked at the iReady scores. We gave out iReady, which is a state-aligned assessment, knowing that students are scheduled to take iLearn in the spring per the IDOE. And just in looking at those scores, we were able to discern that we see a large learning loss for our students. So in order to try to combat that loss and provide intervention and remediation for the current learning loss, as well as what we've seen slide from the spring, we're going to deliver live instruction, and we're implementing a plan to remediate. So an opportunity for students to remediate based on iReady standards, which are state standards, but also an opportunity on Wednesdays for students to be able to get some reteach, review, and redo opportunities so they can redo some of the work that they may not have mastered the first time around.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you all knew, but the iLearn is scheduled to take place April 19th. Although we're going to have a new Secretary of Education when we have with our new president. However, he is recommending that we continue to take the iLearn. However, we don't know yet if it's going to be used for accountability purposes, but we're going to continue with the test. And I sent you all the data yesterday with the iReady, and it was just very concerning to me and Ms. Goods. And we just thought that in order to make sure that our kids have as much as what they need, that we went to live instruction for Wednesday.
I could definitely appreciate that. My other question, I know we discussed about our students and what they need to do for the week, but what are our teachers doing for these next couple weeks?
You mean in terms of whether the teachers are?
Teachers and administration, are they going to school? Are we sticking to the same plan where they don't have to unless they need to? How is that going to work for the next couple weeks?
Well,
Go ahead.
I've already told the building administrators and the district administrators that we all come back to work next Monday, 5 days a week. My recommendation is that the teachers come back into the buildings January 19th. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why I'm going to tell you why I recommend that the teachers come back into the buildings, because we have some teachers have internet problems. Some teachers have Zoom issues. I've gotten reports that, the kids are distracted from noise in the background. And we just want to make sure that the teachers have all the resources that they need. So for example, if I get a phone call from a parent stating that their kid's teacher didn't show up in the afternoon, if we contact the teacher may say, well, my internet went down. Okay, that's possible. However, if we're in the buildings, we already know this. We already know that possibly the internet is down and there's an issue. So I'm just asking that we just have a more uniform fashion of delivering the instruction to our kids. And therefore, I'm recommending that everyone comes back into the building January 19th, but building administrators and district administrators come back into the building next week. Now we can practice social distancing because once again, teachers have their own classrooms. We're going to continue with Zoom. All meetings will still be conducted via Zoom like we're doing now. So even though the teachers are in their rooms, they still can log in, they can still have their Zoom. We're asking that they don't congregate in places, and we're going to put out some guidance stating that they're not to congregate in specific locations. And we just think that it bodes for better instruction when the teachers are in the building without the distractions at home. That's my recommendation.
Did we ask them, did we talk to them prior to, did we get data from them and how they felt and, were they prepared to go back? Did that happen?
Well, if they're providing instruction from home, all they have to do is go back into their buildings, in which they can go back into their buildings at any time, because every day we have a building administrator that's in the building, because the building administrators were alternating. So if teachers need to go into the buildings at any time, they're more than welcome to go into the buildings. In fact, if they're going to be report back into the buildings January 19th, I think that they should all start taking turns going into the buildings if they need to. If they feel as though they don't need to, then they don't have to, but the expectation would be that they all show up January 19th in the buildings.
I think that's it for me. Just one more thing. I know you discussed about how you wanted to collect the data. I know one thing that was very important is that we were saying we were collecting data and that we were, I think before we ended up closing down completely. I just would like to find a way to reach parents, community members differently. I know I've seen the School City of Hammond, what they did was used a Google form. And then I seen their teachers, other community members, school board members actually paste those Google forms on their Facebook. Some people just get more Facebook information from Facebook. Being a parent, I know that we don't always see the messages on our Skyward and or our the kids Canvas. They don't always look unless we know. So I just want us to try to find a different route of getting information out and getting more people to actually have a say.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
I think Trustee Gomez had a couple things.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I appreciate the superintendent sending out that information yesterday. That was very helpful. I'm a little behind the curve here, so I may ask some questions that have already been discussed, but I know this is an ever-changing event that we're going through. So relative, I guess, let me just start from the beginning. The iPads and Chromebooks that were issued, there's a difference between the numbers that have been issued versus the total number of students in
Yes.
the different levels. How does that work? Are these students, do they have their own electronics?
Yes. So for example, we had so K through 2 students use iPads. We had 900 K through 2 students in the district. So we loaned out 726 iPads. So those other 174 students already have their own devices.
Okay.
Same with the grades 3 through 12 use Chromebooks. So we've loaned out 2,215. So the other 585 students, they have their own devices
Okay.
at home.
Okay, great. And then the other question, I have two more. One was the one of the slides, I can't remember which one it was. It says that contact building administrators for help. Who are the administrators? Are you talking about IT people, or are these principals that you're referring to?
Well, they can always contact their principals, and if their principals have an issue, then they know how to contact George, and George will know how to help if it's a technology issue. But if it's just a building issue with the teacher, an assignment, then they should be contacting the building administrators.
Okay, and then the other question was, you mentioned Skyward. That's something I'm not familiar with, so if you could help me with that. And secondly, if you could explain the 3 grades per week.
Okay, so Skyward is our new online management system. I think, Jesse, when you left, we still had RDS.
Yes.
So we have upgraded. So Skyward now is our online grading system. Attendance.
Okay.
Yes. 3 standard-based grades per week. Well, the 3 standard-based grades per week, we felt as though parents should have up-to-date weekly feedback on the academic progress of their students. So we asked teachers to make sure that they have at least 3 grades. Now, they can have more, but they must have at least 3 standard-based grades in the grade book every week, because we don't want parents to look at a grade book, not have a grade, and then 5 weeks later, the kid is failing and the parent had no idea of the kid was. So we want to make sure that we're always progress monitoring with our kids, and we're in constant contact with the parents. So if they log into to Skyward, they have an idea of what's going on, how their kid is doing. They can look at attendance, and they can look at several things. In addition, I didn't mention this, we have a component added to Skyward called Skylert, which should be up and running in the next few days. Right, Ms. Goods?
Yeah, yes. We spoke with George and the technology department. They ran into a glitch, but they said that they were ready to go and really were aggressively working to get Skylar up and running. So it allows, Skylar is an additional program that supplements with or connects with Skyward and allows you to text message and email the families and the communities. And it will text and email right now all of the contact numbers that are in the system.
Right. So if we want to send out a text message that says, in case there's an emergency, I'm just trying to think of something we would send out a text message. We want to send out some communication for it directly. We send it out as a text message. Also, we're going to continue with the robocalls, but that's an additional piece of communicating with our parents. We want to get all levels of communication. So that should be out really, really soon, like really soon.
And I just want to state, Trustee Gomez, you talked about the IT help. The email for IT help is real simple. It's ithelp@ucps.org. So and it's also found on our main page of our website.
Great.
I don't think we have an issue with that. I think most of the community and the parents are very aware of that IT help, because we have office hours and the parents know that these are the office hours, and we always have someone there to help our parents. So I haven't had any issues with that IT help. I think that's working well.
And I'm sorry, I did have one more question. This will be my last one.
Go ahead, Jesse.
This one is regarding the surveys. How do you conduct those surveys, and Like, do you have a threshold of, we got to get 50%, 80%? How do you measure your surveys? So is it a simple majority that you're basing your decisions on?
Well, the surveys that we have put out, we were asking parents, what do they prefer, virtual learning or e-learning? And the first survey that we put out, it was approximately 55% preferred virtual and 45% preferred. So we put the survey up. However, I think that we need to streamline that a little bit better. With teachers, teachers have to use their Google emails. They have to use their Google emails, and we know that it's only 255 teachers. Whereas when we put it out to the parents, we don't know who is completing those surveys. So we're going to have to figure out, how do we streamline those surveys to only get the parent input.
Okay.
What,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but we could just do different types of Google forms that go out. So you could simply go to the parents, simply go to the students, and then go to the admins as well. Because I think it's very important to just receive everyone's input. And while I understand that, I mean, the fact that the last time we did surveys, it was the numbers were so close. Some people felt like we didn't have the input that we had wasn't, we didn't make the best decisions at first. And I know it's a hard thing to do, to make the decisions that we make, but I just want them to understand, like, hey, we're surveying everyone, from the janitors to the clerical to the admins to the pre-K kid to the, everyone. So everyone can understand, we are trying to take your input. We want to make sure everyone's safe. And it's not just the safety as in just a physical safety, but a mental safety, because not everyone's going to mentally be there if they're scared. I mean, it's the truth now. I think everyone with COVID-19 at this point knows somebody who's passed away from it. So it's a different aspect at this point.
I believe that is very true, that the input of everyone. But I think what we've ran into in the past with these surveys is that everybody is not receptive at doing them or receiving
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah.
So we can get a lot of people to say that they're going to do the survey, but don't end up doing it or turning it in the survey, but then be the first ones to complain about something when there's a decision that's made. So I don't know how we catapult that before it gets to a point where a decision is made, and then they'd be like, well, you ain't give me enough time to do the survey, or I didn't get the survey, or I didn't receive it. It's always something when it comes to us trying to survey, and a decision is made based on the surveys that we did receive, because those people did not take the survey very serious. I know that has been a problem in the past.
I totally agree. Yes. So
Yeah,
we'll brainstorm some ways. We'll try to cover every base, even if we have to possibly call and maybe ask. I'm not sure how we can make sure that we get everyone. I think our biggest goal is to make sure we make it accessible to everyone. And once we make it accessible to everyone, then that's up to them if they want to participate in the survey.
Now, my only concern would be when making it accessible, we have to give people and ourselves ample enough time to actually receive the survey, do the survey, and then get it back to us. And then you still have time to read the data before you make the decision. So
Absolutely.
that's something that has to kind of, the ball got to get rolling kind of now in regards to those surveys and us trying to, get some data and input from the district, meaning everyone within our district.
Absolutely.
So the Superintendent, when we have our next meeting, you said for for another decision in February.
Yes.
If our numbers are less than the 14, are we saying that we're going to have all this data presented to us prior to making a decision? Not that I think it's going to change the percentage, but I'm just, asking, for instance.
So here's the plan. So we want to give parents a 2-week notice. We want to give parents and teachers a 2-week notice. So at the February 1st board meeting, we make a recommendation, and then the kids will not, if the positivity rate is less than 15%, then that means that the kids will not return to school until February 16th. Because we want to make sure that we give them that 2-week notice to say, okay, so this is decision, February 16th, kids are expected to be in the building. So you're right, Mr. Williams, we have to get those surveys out like immediately.
Yes.
Yes, we have to get those out immediately.
Trustee Gomez.
What?
Yes.
I see Trustee Gomez trying to chime in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll let Trustee Williams go ahead.
I'm sorry. What changes in the sense of, you just said that educators, administrators was next in line with the vaccination. Does the vaccination, receiving the vaccination, does that supersede the percentages of what our rate is within our district? So if you've been vaccinated, not meaning that you won't receive it, or you won't get sick from it, does that changes the dynamics of what our percentage rate is before we decide to go back to school? Have we thought of that?
That's a big question. I can't answer that one, Mr. Williams. I'm gonna have to get back with you on that one. So the question is, so that I'm clear, if the teachers get the vaccination, would that change our positivity rate? And would that also impact whether the kids are going back to school or not? Is that the question you're asking me?
Yes.
Okay, so I would think, first off, I don't think that the teachers will get the vaccinations by February. I'm thinking probably in March. From what I've seen, it will probably be somewhere in March. But if the teachers get the vaccination, then I'm guessing we will get more guidance from the Indiana State Health Department. And if the teachers are vaccinated, but the kids won't be vaccinated,
So then you still got, yeah.
so I can't answer that one at the time, but I can talk to the.
I don't think I was looking for an answer, Superintendent Wright. I think I was just trying to add, since you brought that to the table, that you educators was next in line to receive it. What role does that play in us making the decision on how people go on, if we go back to school or when we go back to school?
Right.
That was my only, that was the reason why I brought that.
Yeah.
Trustee Williams, realistic, and I think we had a conversation about this in our policy meeting a couple of weeks ago. Realistically, I feel like at this point, when it comes to the vaccinations, that doesn't play a role, because we cannot make any teacher or any employee take a vaccination at this point in time. We at this point in time can't make students take a vaccination. Mind you, the city of East Chicago is in a great position. Miss Diane Burns, she's amazing, where she's been working to get vaccines in our possession. But from our policies, as of right now, we cannot make anyone get that done. So I don't think
I don't think I was making the suggestion that anybody is made to do it, but Ms. Wright brought up the sense that educators are next in line. So those people are going to have to make a conscious decision on their own on if they want to receive the vaccination or not. I just was wondering, what component does that play in regards to us going back to school? The vaccination was supposed to be the cure of all cure for us to get back to some normalization in our lives. So that's why I was asking that. How much after we receive the vaccination are we going to get back to a normal routine? That was my only concern. It wasn't making nobody take it. I haven't even made the decision on if I'm gonna receive it or take it. So I wasn't saying it in that sense. I was just asking the question in regards to that, since Ms. Wright had put it on the table.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to. I was saying that. I mean, if it came out in that way, but we have been in discussions trying to figure out, like, is that going to help in some type of way for our school to see the normalcy?
Right.
But unfortunately, we're just going to have to wait a little bit until,
And see,
you know, we decide what we're going to do policy wise, in actuality, or what the state recommends for us to do policy wise.
right. I agree.
If I may, that was a great question by Trustee Williams. Almost made me forget my question, but
I'm sorry.
That's good. It was very good. And this may be a simple answer that maybe is obvious, but so if students are called back into classes and you said you get updates fairly frequently from the state, as soon as those numbers go back above 15, is there an immediate cutoff? Is that the understanding?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. That's it.
Right. I get those updates like every 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
They come through my, I get them both from the city of East Chicago, and I get them from the Indiana State Department of Health. So I'm constantly looking at those positivity rates, because over this Christmas break, 1 week, I think we went down to like 12%. A couple of days later, we jumped back up. So, because I was getting a little excited, and 2 days later, it was back up. So, and I think maybe the rate was down because it was during Christmas time and nobody was going out to be tested, I'm guessing. And then once the Christmas holiday was over, you know, we had people going back in to get testing, and that's when it jumped back up. So, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Also, COVID cases. We have a COVID data dashboard that we put both on our school website, and we have that information placed into our Indiana State Health Department portal also. So we find parents and teachers, they can find that COVID information in 2 places. 1, specifically only to East Chicago on our district website, and 2, at the Indiana State Health Department website. You all have to, if you want the information, you have to register for that Indiana State Health Department data to come to your phone or emails.
I had one question with regards to how are we getting this information to our parents with regards to this information you're telling us?
The Indiana State Health Department information.
Mm-hmm. Or even this, or even the survey. I mean, how would you? Because I guess the reason why I'm saying this, because from previous meetings, we've always had individuals that came up to us to say, hey, I didn't see the survey. I didn't see it. I mean, it wasn't posted in any of the schools or the websites, or so where would the survey be posted at?
Well, since COVID, it's on the school website. So what happens is Sylvia sends out a robocall, and she'll say, parents, we have an important survey. Please complete the survey. And then it's on the school website. So we'll continue to do that. We'll send out, hopefully in the next couple of days, Sky Alert. We'll send a text message, and we'll ask parents to log in and participate in the survey. And then we'll continue with the robocalls. And then we'll also post it on the district website to say, this is a survey that needs to be taken by whatever time then we give it.
Superintendent Wright, I think Joelle might be kind of leaning towards community members who do not do social media or websites or computer-based. Is there a location where they could pick it up? Maybe work with the library to pick up surveys if possible, just so that they could, we could just get words out to individuals who are not part of the technology or are not comfortable with technology.
So a hard copy survey.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. We can do that.
And maybe if we could reach out to them, so on Monday, we could make that conversation. Say have it said, and then us as board members, because, we get those phone calls from select few who like to ask for hard copies, and then we could actually be able to tell them where to go to pick them up.
Okay, and then
You know,
we'll make-
and I kind of like what you said, Vanessa, with regards to the library, because we do have 2 representatives at the library.
Correct.
So they could play a good role in this as well.
done.
Jeremy, is there anyone that is stating that they would like to speak? If they have any questions, trustees, are we all okay with questions or concerns or anything at this point?
Ms. Smith,
I'm fine.
you didn't,
Okay.
you have a question? We haven't heard from you.
No, I'm okay.
Yes.
We do.
Let me, I will send you the information right now.
To Trustee Williams, and then Trustee Williams is going to be the same thing. We'll have the 3 minutes and make sure that it's, I know our attorney's not here, and I'm going to try to just say what he says as much as possible, but please keep our comments clean. Make sure that we're not saying anyone's employees' names. And again, this is a work session with the topic of COVID-19 reentry plan. So the questions should be related to that.
Let me see if I can receive the message from Jeremy.
In the chats. Oh, he did chat me. Sorry. Let's see.
Let me see. Is it Mrs. Helen Steinbeck?
Mrs. Steinbeck,
Is
you're
Ms. Helen
able to
Steinbeck
speak.
available?
There she goes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Helen. Mr. Yes, thank you, Mr. Williams. Helen Steinbach, I'm president of the AFT 511. I just have a couple questions that weren't clarified. And then I did want to make one statement that teachers were not, can't hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, I have the delay. Hang on one second. Sorry, I had to turn off the YouTube feed. It's way behind. Okay, so one of my biggest question is I understand that the superintendent would like the teachers to come back into the building, that she feels that that's the best place for us to be working. And the majority of us don't have a problem with that. However, there have been some teachers that have been previously identified as high risk. So even in the circumstances where the children aren't in the building, would it be possible for those teachers to continue to work from home? And then I would ask that teachers are given ample notice to prepare for changes. So it sounds to me like we will be given that 2-week notice. So that is helpful because we were not notified about teaching live on Wednesdays until the last day before the break. And so many of us were not able to prepare for that in a timely fashion and feel prepared to welcome the students. So I just want that to be said. But going forward, I would hope that we would have ample notice. The other thing is we were not asked about returning to the building. So I hope that future surveys are included, the teachers and then the other question I want to put out there for consideration is if teachers do become ill and then are sent home, I want to make sure that that COVID language that was negotiated would then kick into place and that teachers wouldn't have to use their own sick time for that.
Ms. Steinbeck, if we could just take are those all your questions and concerns?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Superintendent Wright, if we could just take that and on our special meeting, if we could just address just the questions and so they could get more information that they need, that'd be great.
Oh, can I say one more thing about the attendance? I think that if we were to offer some type of incentive, some recognition for the children that attend every day. I mean, I, as a classroom teacher, and the majority of my coworkers do it individually, but I think if we had some district-wide recognition saying, oh, look at these students attended and turned in their work all the time, you know, on the district website. You know, we can't do awards assemblies and things like that right now, but at least if we put it out on the website, that might encourage more people to attend regularly. My attendance has been awesome in 2021. I've had kids.
Thank you,
every
Mrs.
day.
Steinbeck. That was your time. I'm sorry.
That's okay, Mr.
But I
Williams.
think
Thank you.
Ms. Wright, did you get that information, Ms. Wright?
I did. I
Okay.
got it.
Thank you, Ms. Steinbeck. Up next will be Mrs. Jennifer Davers. Do we have Ms. Jennifer Davers?
Hold on.
Let me reset and go back. My name's Jennifer Draves.
I'm sorry,
That's okay.
Mrs. DeReeves.
Draves,
Geraves.
like graves with a D.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Geraves.
Thank
Got you. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too. Good evening. I am Mrs. Jennifer Draves. I am a teacher in the district. And I'm here today. I thank you guys for pushing things from what I'm hearing back to February. Mrs. Wright, I am so thrilled to hear you taking in consideration all the data and looking at those numbers and doing what's best for our kids. I am a high-risk teacher. I have different health issues. I have been home even before any of the other teachers were home, and I thank you guys for that. I'm hoping that is going to continue if teachers are going back January 19th. I think that's even with us going into the building, that's a concern for our teachers. Even though we're in different rooms, but I mean, every day you're coming in, you do pass by each other. You know, I know that the vaccinations are spread apart by like 2 weeks is what I think I'm hearing. Like you get your first shot and then you got to wait 2 weeks. And, you know, as Ms. Wright said, she doesn't think that we're going to be getting shots until March. I'm one of them that I would like to have the shot. I have a husband who is down to 1 kidney. So his and my health is very important. So those are some of the concerns of, I guess, us as teachers. There are, you know, I'm just one voice, but I probably have similar stories to other teachers and staff members that are in the buildings. One of the other things, I know Helen brought up the fact of our Wednesdays. Those were days that we were having meetings. Grade levels, I'm a STEM teacher. I'm thrilled that I'm a STEM teacher. This is an exciting year for us. But when we had Wednesdays, we had availability to get in contact with our colleagues. And now a lot of that's going to be taken away because I teach STEM from 8:40 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. And I am kind of going nonstop. I'm teaching 7 grade levels. And I am doing it based on what I'm putting together, my curriculum that I'm building. I can't wait for Project Lead the Way to be in my hands. But for right now, I have to develop everything. And so I try to split it between K through 2 and like 3rd through 6 or 4th through 6. And so it's a lot. But when will because of meetings possibly going to be after schools for our specials group, special education, any of those.
I'm sorry, Ms. Draves, but that's your time.
Yeah.
So can I
Are we
reply,
gonna be compensated?
can I reply to that one right quickly? So Miss Draves, Ms. Goods and I, we talked to the building principals about those concerns. So once again, when we looked at the iReady data and we saw the learning loss for our kids, we had to make the difficult decision of were we going to address the learning loss due to the fact that the kids are going to take the iLearn test April 19th. And then we also looked at your schedules. So your schedule, the teacher schedule is for elementary is from 8 until 3 p.m. So you all technically have 30 minutes before school starts. So if you start instruction at 8:40, you have 30 minutes before school starts, and then the kids in instruction at 2:30. So you have 30 minutes after kids in their instruction, in addition to your planning periods. So we're looking at possibly 2 hours for planning. So we do understand that, you know, you all did use those Wednesdays for meetings, but our kids are suffering when it comes to learning loss. So please bear with us. We know that it's difficult, and we always have to make difficult decisions. And I do hear you. So we do understand that, you know, you all did use those Wednesdays for meetings.
Feedback.
That
Yeah,
was
that's feedback.
computer.
Is there
Oh.
anyone else? Trustee Williams?
No, that was the only two.
Okay. So that will end today's meeting or the work session. And Ms. Cass, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move to adjourn.
Trustee Gomez moves to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. We will be back live on Monday, and that would be at 6 p.m. with the new link that will be on our website. Thank you, everyone.